And whoever are the children finished their education, and he used to take care of those children with kind of making arrangements for them so that they can live their life. In that process, once upon a time, there was a boy called Swetaketu, who was the son of Aruneya. And Aruni came to the king and said, "Sir, oh my majesty, I studied for many years with my guru, and now I am here. I have a few doubts. And if you answer those things, then I'll be happy, because you said that you are in the Gurukulam and studied very well." He said, "Of course. And can I ask you?" He said, "Yes, sir." And then the first question the king asked, "Vetha edito adhiprajah prayanti?" Do you understand that people who practice good karmas probably reach some place, it seems. They have to go to some place. Do you know about that place? The boy felt so much, discomfortable. He felt so much discomfort and said, "I'm sorry, I didn't know this." It's okay, that's fine. Vetha yatha punaravartante. Do you understand, probably do you know how one person performed karma and left this body will come back to this body? Come back to this world? The boy said, "I don't know. I'm sorry." The king just smiled and then said, "That's okay. Vetha pathoho devayanasya pitruyanasya cha vyavartante." Do you understand the difference between the Devayana and Pitruyana? Do you ask about them? He said, it is absolutely, he thought it's something new altogether. And he said, I'm really sorry, my majesty. And then he asked another question. Vetha yathasau lokaha na sampuyate. Why the world will not be totally filled up with the people, with the souls? Do you understand that? He said, "No, I didn't." And then he asked the final question. Vetha yatha panchamya mahuta apaha purushavachaso bhavanti. Panchamya vahuta vapaha, going through 5 fires, how one gets a new body. Do you know those 5 fires going through which the soul can get a new body? He said, "I'm really sorry, my majesty. I'm sorry." And then he immediately returned to his Guruji, where he studied, and then he started crying with his teacher that, "You really did not teach me anything that is needed. I went to the king, asked the king, and I was not able to reply even a single question he posed to me." See, just a maiden attempt failed. So he got really upset. And then the Guruji was a really great Guru. He said, "My little child, can you tell me what those questions asked by the king?" He said, "I don't want to say any of those things. How can I know?" Then that's okay. I go to the king and I will ask him what the questions and see whether I know them or not. If I know, then only I'll be able to explain to you. And then the Guruji went to the king Pravahana and said, "My majesty, seems that you asked a few questions to my child, and he was not able to reply. And may I know what those questions are? And the king asked the same questions. And the Guruji was very great, very humble, because he was a real Guru. And he said, My Majesty, this is a great knowledge, probably you are blessed with. I really don't know anything about this. That is the reason I could not teach this subject to my student. So, can you bless me with that knowledge, please? He asked. He said, You are a great sage. I am a ruler. I am not supposed to give you any kind of upadesam like that. But the Guruji said, it is not the thing. Knowledge is knowledge always. We value the knowledge. When you know that, and there is nothing wrong with me, even to serve you and get the knowledge, or probably whatever the rule that you impose, and I follow those rules, and I will try to learn that knowledge. Can you please teach me that things? And then the king was happy, following the perfect rules. That king gave that knowledge to the Guruji, and Guruji felt so happy. So there he of course he taught all the 5 answers to the 5 questions, but all those 5 questions are not relevant to us now. But one is very, very relevant. That is how a soul, after leaving the body, returns to another body. What are the phases the soul goes through? The king said there are 5 types of fires through which the soul goes, and then it gets a new body when it travels through the Dhumadi Marga. The name of the Dhumadi Marga is called Pitruyana. Devayana is something when the soul travels and but never returns. It is called Archaradi Marga, and for which the soul has to travel through 12 places, 12 junctions. And then it is said, the first one is called Archi, Dina, Purvapaksha, Sharudang Masa, Abda, Vata, Amsumat, Glav, Varuna, Indra, Dhatru. Beautiful places. Of course, most of our Prajna students learn that during their second module in the prayers. And there the main junction the soul goes to is the sun. And from the sun it travels, and then it goes to a place called Dhatru, then it crosses through a river called Viraja, and then it enters the divine abode called Vaikuntha, and of course there are so many other things also. But now our point is how the soul comes back to this world, because most of us are I think really not interested in going to Narkika path, right? Because we don't want to go through though we do something wrong, but we don't want the Naraka path at all. We want at least to come back here. If not, we are allowed to go to the Devayana, but at least we want to come back to this plane, whether we get a human body or an animal body or a bird body or some other body, but we want to be here, at least, to be on the safe side. So we need to understand about those 5 Agnis, fires, through which the soul travels. This is what is explained by the king to the sage, by King Pravahana to the sage, which of course Kapila explained in short, in so brief to his mother. But because the Upanishad gave a detail about it, so just we would like to put those things before you guys. The first thing that the soul leaves this body, and while this is leaving, there is a stock of karmas. Since how long those karmas are there with us is really not known. And the scripture said that is anadi. Anadi means it's a beginningless. When did it start? We really don't know. Though some people say, 10,000 years, some people say 15,000 years. Some people may say, about 200,000 years, or some people might say that 2.5 million years, but it is called anadi. No beginning is there. Since then the soul is traveling. Since then the soul is traveling with a subtle body. It's called Sukshma Sarira. And this Sukshma Sarira is a capsulized body. What are there in that small body, in the subtle body? And with what it is made? It is like 5 sensory organs and 5 subtlest elements of these 5 bhutas, panchabhutas, what they called as panchatanmatras. That means subtle particles of these 5 elements like the earth, water, fire, air, ether. And a body made of those subtle particles and 5 sensory organs plus 1 manas. This is called the subtle body, Sukshma Sarira. And in that Sukshma Sarira, the soul stays safe. Right? And whatever the soul acted while traveling through a body are very well preserved at all these levels. In Bhagavad Gita, in 3rd chapter, Lord Krishna says, any activity that we do will create a record. A record is generated immediately the moment we did it. And the places for those records to preserve is Indriyani, Manaha, Buddhihi, Asyadhisthana Muchyate, Etaihi Vimohayatyeshaha. Etaihi Vimohayatyeshaha. Because of these, the 5 elemental things, and because of the sensory organs, and because of the manas, and of course the buddhi, that is the knowledge of the soul, which will be connected always through these things, just like the electricity that is connected the all parts of the body. Like that, the buddhi that connects this entire subtle body, and when it gets a gross body, and then through these subtle particles, through these sensory organs, this jnana is slowly spreads. That means the connectivity of the electricity is spread all through the body. That's how just we are able to perceive so many things when they touch and everything also. When the soul leaves one body, it goes with this subtle body. Just like when we travel from one place to the other place, when we are transferred with our job, then we go with our plastic card, right, where our details are there, where our bank accounts are there, where our life story is preserved. All they are preserved in the small plastic card. And we simply travel with that plastic card, and that's how we start our new life in some new city, in some new rented house. So also the soul traveling with these things, because all these are preservatives or preservoirs of the past records. And those past records decide where we have to reach. And those past records bring some kind of guna, whether it is sattva guna, rajo guna or tamo guna. And that guna decides through which body we can really experience that. So guna is the responsible for the body, and the body is responsible for karma. Guna, karma, vibhagasaha. Chaturvarnyam Maya Srishtam. In Bhagavad Gita again Krishna said, Guna is the first one, because the soul before leaving the body, some guna comes in the priority, in the order of priority. When it comes up, that decides. It is like getting the flight ticket in hand. When you got the ticket, then yes, you can just get into the flight. When you get in the flight takes you to some place. There may be one transit, maybe a couple of transits, or maybe many, that's okay. But ultimately you reach your own place. You need not know what transit, what will be there and how it will be there. All these things need not be really known. It is a process through which you have to go through. But ultimately you reach, you will be landing at your goal as your ticket guides you. So that the ticket decides your fate. How you go, where you go, and all these things, isn't it? So also the guna, either sattva, rajas or tamas, that decides where you have to land after leaving this body. And then you taking that guna with you, you leave this body, travel through many fires, and ultimately you get such body which is decided here at the end of your past life with that guna. And then when you go there, and then you start your new life, the body has come. With that body, and then the activity is decided, how you have to act upon. This is guna, and there the karma. In between there is a body, right? It is again explained by Lord Krishna himself in 13th chapter. Guna sangaha is karanam sadasad yoni janmasu. Sadasad yoni janmasu, whatever the body that you have to get, the reason is the sangha, guna sangha. When the guna is the factor that comes up, it takes you. And then you go through 5 fires. And then you get that body. How you get the body is a very interesting thing. Let us try to understand that. It is a kind of yajna, what the scriptures talk about. It's a kind of yajna. When you do yajna, I think probably some of us might have experienced the yajna. In yajna, first of all, there will be a kind of churning the fire with 2 sticks. And then the fire is generated. But when the fire is generated, there will be a kind of smoke also. After smoke again, the little fire comes. To grow that fire, we have to add some twigs. When we add the twigs, then those twigs catch the fire, there will be kind of smoke initially, then the flame comes. The flames, they start. And then there are generated some kind of, the burning coal will be generated out of them. Sometimes again the smoke comes, and when you start, taking a fan and stuff, then the fire streaks will be seen. This is the common thing. So there is a fire, there are twigs, there is a smoke, and there is a flame, and there is a burning coal, and there are 5 streaks. All these 5 things will be there. All these 6 things are there. And in Sanskrit they call them as Agni, the fire. And the twigs are called Samik. Smoke is called Dhuma. And the flames are called Archi. And the burning coal is called Angara. And the 5 streaks are called Vispulingaha. These are common with the fire. This, I think, taken as the base, and then each fire is described by the great scriptures. It is in a metaphoric way they explain this. it is said, basing on the karma, keep that aside. But when the soul leaves this body, this soul, first of all, the body is burned to ashes, right? So this is called archi. And then it travels through an area where the day is formed, crossing through that, where the fortnight is formed, crosses through where the month is formed. I think probably we know very well, in the moon, a fortnight of us is only half of the day there, right? And for us, when a month is passed, a day is passed on the moon. That means that is a month's area, we can call it. Like that, there will be an area where 6 months is passed. What is called ayana? Uttarayana, Dakshinayana. When the sun moves towards the northern hemisphere, when the sun is seen during the at southern hemisphere, and then it is called Dakshinayana, this is called Uttarayana. So there is an area where those things are formed. Just for information, when the soul travels from this body, it goes through the Uttarayana area so that it won't come back. But in Dakshinayana area, when it comes back, either to Narakalokas or to this world, through when it chooses the Dhumadi Marga or Narakika Marga, Yamyadi Marga. What Kapila says as Dakshinena Patha, Aryamnaha Pitrulokam Jayantite. They travel through the Dakshinayana, means that's when the sun is seen in the southern hemisphere. It's called Dakshinayana. But for the route, whether the sun is here or sun is there, is not really matters. But it is an area what we need to remember. And then when the 1 year is formed, for us 365 days, and for sun it is only just 1 day, right? It is only just 1 day. That means there is a lot of difference from here to that. The soul travels through that area. When soul goes through that sun, and then there is a place called glow, and there is a place called Vidyut, and then Varuna, and then Indra, then Dhatru, finish. There it goes to Viraja, and after Viraja, then it is totally freed with the subtle body. Till then, the subtle body is there with the soul, but when it gone to the area called Viraja, that means the connection with the Rajoguna and Tamoguna will be broken, will be cut off. And then soul goes to the other area. There it gets a divine body, and from there it need not come back. But that is for the souls which travel through the Devayana, and then it won't come back, right? But for the souls which come back, they won't go to Devayana. They go to Pitruyana, which is called Dhumadi Marga. And when they go to Dhumadi Marga, the first place they go is to the sun, what is called as Dhyuloka. And when they go to Dhyuloka, that means a place, there it is a fire like. The soul atmosphere, just for our conversation's sake, isn't it? And the place is called Dhyuloka. And at the Dhyuloka, sun is like the twigs, because he glows that. And the rays of him are called Dhuma. And then the daytime when the light is seen is just like the flames of the fire. And moon is the burning coal. And all the stars are considered as 5 streaks. This is in a metaphoric way, the Upanishad said. But what is considered, what we need to know here is, when the soul reaches that place and it is a fire, and to resist that he gets a kind of body called Somo Raja. He is called there as Soma Raja. And then he will be offered there as an oblation in the fire. There he goes through that fire, it seems. And who offers that fire? The soul into that fire is actually, it is the soul with the subtle body. Then it is called as Shraddha. When people die here, they offer something here is called Shraddha, right? That means he will be in a body called Shraddha. For him, whatever is needed is called Shraddha. So senses will offer the soul in that fire. And there he goes through in a body called Somo Raja Bhavati, it is said. And then from there, it is the pranas take the lead. And those pranas offer this Soma Raja body of the soul into another fire called Parjanya. That means Parjanya is from the place called Dyuloka. Through the moon, he comes to a place called Parjanya. Parjanya means he is coming back down to this world. Parjanya is basically clouds. That means he is coming down to take clouds as his place. There are droplets in the clouds, right? So he catches those droplets. And again there will be wind, Vayu, as the summit. And that cloud itself is called, because it is a cloud is always cloudy, isn't it? So it is the smoke like. And then in the clouds we see the lightning also. That is the glow of that. And then sometimes there will be thunderbolts, which are like the fire burning coals. And then sometimes there will be roaring clouds also, which is called Hradunaya. It is just in a metaphoric way they explained, but what we need to understand is that he is taking a body of a droplet, that is but another fire in the clouds. And again from there, through that pranas only, he will be dropped down. That means through the subtle body, he comes back to this earth in the form of rain. Of course, for that again it might take years in the space, during the day or night, no matter, and of course in all corners. These are the factors of the cloud. And when he falls on the ground, and this is a very critical stage of the soul, which in fact decides where exactly he has to go and take a body. But let us take the human body. He has to get a human body. He is aimed at getting a human body when the soul is leaving the previous body. That guna decided that this soul should get a human body. What happens then? Then he goes to Dyuloka, get the Soma Raja body, and then he comes back to the Parjanya. From that Parjanya, he again falls on this earth in the form of rain. But when he forms in the form of rain, the rain is actually falling on the crops. When it is falling the crops, and then the crops of course through their roots take that water, and then the water slowly goes into the plant, and then it forms the leaves, stacks, and then grains, etc. Imagine that it took the form of a grain, a rice grain or a wheat grain, or the form of a fruit, something like that, right, in the plant. And then that plant becoming a plant is the third fire. He gone to that fire and stayed there for some time so that it will be fit for consuming by the human guys. But the fourth fire is that it came to a male person, to a human, that too to a male person. So suppose he took the form of a grain, rice grain, and then that rice grain slowly changed so many hands and came to a person who has to eat it. And when the person ate it, it went to his body. So many rice grains will be there, all may not be eaten, but some grains will be eaten by him, which will be transformed into blood. Because all the food we eat won't turn as our energy. It may be going out in the form of waste. It may be taking the shape of the hair, or it may be taking the shape of the skin, or it may be responsible for the growth of bones and flesh, etc. But there will be some rice grains, or the food grains, that take the form of the blood. And even among those who take the form of the blood, all won't be transformed as the white cells. Only very few particles of that food will be transformed in the form of the white blood cells. And from that white blood cells, again they form as a spermatozoa in the male body. Remember, the soul who travelled from Somo Raja to the Parjanya and in the form of the rain, and then started entering the plant and took the form of the grain, travelled and was cooked. There is a third fire which is very critical, and then came to the fourth fire called human body. There he transformed as a cell. And then that cell enters the woman's body, which is called the fifth fire. And after entering the woman's body, there he starts growing, just like forming the zygote, and then growing as a fetus, and then comes as a baby. The woman's womb is the fifth fire. 5 fires. First is Juloka, the Somo Raja, and then the Parjanya in the form of water, and third is the Prithvi in the form of the food, and fourth is the human body, transforms as a cell, and the fifth one is the woman's body, where he grows as a baby. Then he comes out just like a small baby. This is the fifth fire. Panchamya vahuta vapaha purusha vachaso bhavati. Then he comes in the form of a baby and then gets a new body. But remember, my friends, all the souls traveling, all the souls leaving the previous body won't get the human body. No. This is very critical stage. That is what is very, very important. We need to understand these 5 fires, because we fortunately crossed through so many hurdles, gone through so many hardships, by some kind of unknown virtue, by some kind of great compassion of God. Got a human body. It's very difficult to get a human body. Nar tan bar nahi milta. Getting a human body is not an easy task. And it is said, Iha ched avedit adha satyam asti, na ched iha vedit mahati vinastihi. If we use this chance, a very, very rare opportunity in a better way, then we get great fruits. Don't miss this chance. Don't abuse this human body. Don't allow this body to be filled up with ego. Don't allow this body to be filled up with arrogance. Don't allow this human body to fill up with the ignorance and with so many bad qualities. And if you use that, you lost a very great chance. Is it a great chance? Yes, it is. How? We will try to understand that during our next session. We got it, so we didn't understand this. We thought, oh, this is, just my effort and so on and so forth. Not at all, my friends. Some unseen power of God brought you to this human body, making you to cross through so many hurdles and allowed you to skip off all those things. And fortunately, you got this human body. How difficult it is, how critical it is. What I said, among the 5 fires, the third fire is very, very critical, very difficult. When the soul comes back to this earth in the form of rain, that's pretty critical. And if that is crossed and came to a human, that too to a male body, then 5% of good chances are with him. 5%. And then the 5th fire, which is called woman, and by great chance only we came out. How many women we saw crying because they got aborted. They could not get the children. They could not get the babies. How many are there like that? But we fortunately got this human body. We came out to this world, got this wonderful world seen and enjoying so many things, but given for a higher purpose. Realize that. Don't miss that. Don't abuse it. What is that higher purpose? How difficult it is to get a human body, and how that third fire works. These are things which we need to understand. Yes, we need to understand that. And these are explained to us by the great sages to us. Our scriptures very well define all these details. And my friends, our science, what we call today as science, cannot understand these factors. Cannot. For sure. For sure. It cannot understand. But our Upanishads, pretty logically and with more authority, they gave the details to us, and let us try to understand them and explore those things and make this human life meaningful and purposeful. We offer Mangalasasans to all of you for putting all better efforts to make great use of this human body by variety of services and great enthusiasm to understand, to realize the purpose of this. God bless you all, and Mangalasasans to one and all. Jai Shriman Narayana.
సెరెనిటీ మోడల్ హై స్కూల్ విద్యార్థులకు అమ్మఒడి, సామాన్యులకు అందుబాటులో ఉన్న బడి సెరెనిటీ. మేడ్చల్ జిల్లాలో మేటిగా నిలిచి సాటిలేని ఫలితాలను సాధిస్తున్న నంబర్ 1 స్కూల్ సెరెనిటీ. మా ప్రత్యేకతలు: ప్రతి విద్యార్థి పట్ల వ్యక్తిగత శ్రద్ధ, యాక్టివిటీ బేస్డ్ లెర్నింగ్ అండ్ డిజిటల్ క్లాస్ రూమ్స్, కంప్యూటర్ ల్యాబ్, 100% ఫలితాలు, స్పోర్ట్స్ అండ్ కల్చరల్ యాక్టివిటీస్, యోగా, అబాకస్ మరియు వేదిక్ మ్యాథ్స్ ఎడ్యుకేషన్. ప్లీజ్ విజిట్ Serenity Model High School, Nagaram. Admissions are in progress. Call 040-271-46899 and 040-271-48699.